Greetings, it's Vaygrim, back with another mod guide. This time we're taking a look at Remote I/O by D. Miller W, aka Dylan Miller. Remote I/O has actually been around for quite a while. I used it some in 1.6.4, and it's been updated to 1.7.10, and it needs a second look. Some new features have been added, some bumps have been ironed out, and overall functionality has been improved. And so, I could do a very simple, kind of an overview. We've got various tools at my disposal here. There's blocks like the water reservoir, which have existed before. There is the lava heater that's existed before. The remote interface and the remote inventory have all existed before. For example, we get a... let's do water. Get a bucket and a tank. I'm just going to put it right here. Let's put this down. You put a little bit of water on each side, and you put something on top, and it starts filling it. Pretty simple. I like it. Definitely like it. Let's actually do that. It's pretty quick. It fills up pretty effortlessly. You don't really need to do anything. You just put a tank on top of it, it figures it out. And that's the kind of functionality that I like. The lava heater, you do the same thing. You put the lava heater here, lava on either side. Get ourselves a furnace, bucket of lava, and a heater. And we're really going to get risky here. Now, this furnace is constantly burning. Now, the real trick is, it is constantly burning from this heater, but it's a little bit slower than normal. If I was going to say, get some cobblestone, you'll see, it does process, but it is not quite as fast as a normal furnace. It's just a little slower. If I remember correctly, it was that way in 1.6.4. I'm not sure if he's actually changed it or not. It seems to do pretty good, though. I actually think the efficiency on this is a lot higher than it used to be. Anyway, let's put that back there, and that back there. So I've just got that going for free. It's really nice. Now, these aren't too hard to make. Water reservoir is basically a bucket of water, or I have harvest craft in mind, so fresh water works. You have a bucket of water, some stone, and some glass. That is the water reservoir. If you want to do the lava heater, it is stone with iron bars and a lava bucket in the middle. Not real hard. Well, there's also a new thing. There's the intelligent workbench. The intelligent workbench is a crafting table plus this little thing called a location chip. Redstone, paper, and gold nugget. The intelligent workbench is actually pretty nice in that it allows for recipe conflicts. Now, in this particular mod pack setup that I've got for mod guides, I don't have any recipe conflicts. But if, let's say, I had a recipe, I'm looking for sticks. There we go. We go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. These would highlight if something else shared this recipe, and I could change back and forth. It will actually let you work within a mod pack even if there are recipe conflicts. And I actually think this is borderline brilliant, if not brilliant actually. I think it's amazing because this is one more of those things that lets the casual player make their own mod packs. Not only are there not item numbers and item conflicts, ID conflicts that you have to worry about anymore, except for maybe dimensions or potions or enchants, but even those are usually ironed out by now. Most mod developers are staying out of each other's numbers, and you can change them, but you don't have to worry about item ID conflicts or block ID number conflicts anymore. Now, with this, you just put Remote I/O in your pack. You don't even have to worry about recipe conflicts anymore. So you don't have to mess with Mod Tweaker or Mind Tweaker if you don't want to. It's nice. I really do like it. And it's such a simple thing that adds such a great service. Now, the only complaint I have about the Intelligent Workbench that I would give as a suggestion to Dylan Miller, it doesn't save contents. And That seems kind of crummy nowadays. It seems like just about everything that is actually an upgrade to the crafting table keeps its contents. And it's just a nicety. It's not required, however. This thing still functions great without that. That's the only change I would make to that. So then we get to the more complicated stuff. Remote interface and remote inventory. These are blocks that you actually have to make. There's a remote interface. It is basically a block of gold and a pearl and some redstone around the outside. You get a remote interface. And then you make various tools like the location chip or the wireless transmitter and the I/O tool to work with this block. Not real hard stuff. The recipes are not terribly expensive. So I really do like the balance point on this. However, I really can't do these things justice just by, like, for example, I get this wireless transmitter. I right click on it, shift, right click, and it'll say target saved. If you go to your inventory, it'll say not only the exact position, but it says bound to Vaygrim. So it is actually targeting me. Then I get a remote interface and put it in the same crafting grid as that block, and it makes a remote inventory that's bound to me. That's how that works. But I think instead, I'm going to show you some of these other test blocks that I've got back here in this other test setup. This is Skylight, by the way. Skylight's an amazing addition. Moat IO. I can type today, I swear. Skylight is a great addition to... Come on, NEI. There we go. It's a great addition to Remote IO. I really do love this stuff. Block of stone, 4 of them. 3 blocks of glass and some redstone. And you get this stuff. Skylight responds to a redstone signal. It transmits all through the glass. So right here, if you look, I only have 1 block in the center that is being targeted using this wireless lever. So it's easy. And I love the effect. You can turn walls into windows. Right around the corner here, I have kind of a larger test area with better examples as to what's going on. Now, I've got the furnace set up the same way I had it set up over there. I've got a water reservoir going. It's not piping into anything right now. Let me get... I actually don't even think I need... Let me get rid of those real quick. I'm going to put that there and that there. It's going to start filling up. Now, what I need to do is... let's do it just on this one. Extract without a signal. It's going to start extracting the water as quick as it can extract it. Where's that water going? Well, it's going up to this remote interface that has been upgraded with a fluid transfer. That fluid transfer is linked to this vat. Water is being pumped into the vat, and it is now making, I think, if I remember my recipes right, hooch. Are we going to get some hooch? We got hooch, and it disappeared as quick as it could. Where did it go? Well, it got piped out into here. If you notice, this tank says hooch, 875 millibuckets. Basically, whoops, got to get my handy-dandy I/O tool. This I/O tool is what you use to basically configure the blocks. There is the fluid transfer chip. That is a location chip plus a blank plate, not real hard, and whoops, and a couple of empty buckets. You get a fluid transfer chip. What this lets you do is you put it in here, and it lets this block, whatever it's linked to, transfer fluid. Pretty simple. So that one is linked to here, and it's transferring water into it. This one is linked to here. So I've got 2 blocks hooked up to remote interfaces, hooked up to one machine. This one has a fluid transfer upgrade, but it's pulling out. And of course, this only wants water in, and whatever the product is out. The block figures it out for itself. If I wanted to, I actually have the little thing here that shows the block itself, this actual machine that has actually been connected. Now, another thing that I need to point out, by the way, let me get up. This is an addition that's been made thanks to Dylan Miller. Okay, I can put you back now. This is an unlinked block. This is a linked block. Now, the important thing is there's a color difference. I'm lost there. This basically gets a little bit lighter when it gets linked. I can't see color. I went to Dylan and I said, dude, this really isn't working for me. I keep losing track of which ones I have linked and which ones I don't. So if I set them all side by side like this, unlinked, linked, yes, I could actually tell the difference. This is the unlinked block. However, I don't want to have to do this all the time or carry a spare block around. Well, what he did was he changed the texture so it fills in that middle dot when it's connected. So now I know. Hollow, it's not connected. Filled in, it's connected. That is the kind of thing that really helps guys like me, and I love that. So you can go away now. This is basically an example of some of the things you can do. This is a water reservoir, pumping water into a vat. The vat is churning away. I could have this part upstairs so I could watch it. Oh, I need more apples and more sugar. But then this is all this, and all of this is downstairs in the basement, so I don't have to worry about it. And I think that's cool. See, we got 6 buckets plus a little bit of hooch. That's great. I could have these, I think, a pretty good distance apart. It's really nice. I like it. So basically, yeah, you could have a great distance between these blocks. I'm not even sure what the maximum is. I think it works cross-dimensionally. And that is probably something I should. See, he's got chips for, okay, item transfer, self-explanatory. Let's go over that real quick. Over here, let's go over item transfer real quick. Over here, I have a simple AE system. AE2, I have channels turned off so I can keep it kind of simple and streamlined. I've got wireless access right here, okay? And then I have a remote inventory block. This is my example block. Again, you can see this is bound to me. This is unbound. Real simple. Now, you have this set up, and what I have, there's some storage down here. I've got various kinds of ore and blocks. Then I have this little thing coming off with an import bus going into remote inventory. This is an interface. This is for machines over here. This is for the player, and this is bound to me. So this is actually pulling from my inventory, pulling ores from my inventory. I would have this linked to an auto processing system back here to automatically pull raw ore out of my inventory, process it, and then put it in storage. So now if I come up here, I can pull some out, and you see half a stack is gone, half a stack is gone. That's because of how I have these upgrades right here. Capacity and acceleration. So if I just took out one emerald ore, it automatically shows up back in. Could get a couple of stacks. Let's get all the gold and the iron. And it just disappears from my inventory. And it happens silently, automatically, in the background. You could be mining some great distance away, and as you get mining goods, it automatically gets pulled back into your inventory, put in through automated ore processing, and you don't have to do anything. You keep mining and mining and mining. And I think this is awesome. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be honest with you. Right now, there is one bug, but I have made sure that Dylan knows about this. There is one bug that I'm hoping he'll be able to fix, where when you log in a remote inventory, when a world loads up or when a chunk unloads and loads back up, and this is only going to work if a chunk is loaded, by the way. If this chunk is loaded, this is the only way it's going to work. As soon as I go 1,000 chunks that way, this stops working unless it's at spawn or it's chunk loaded. So you have to remember that. But there is a bug right now in the current version where as soon as you load up a world or load up a chunk, you have to right-click to kind of reactivate that. It'll say target loaded. Only have to do it once when the chunk loads up or when the world loads up. But I have let him know about this. He's going to get it fixed. Just be patient. There is a solution to this problem, and it's a real simple one. But I don't need you anymore. I really do I see so much potential in this. This is amazing. You just have to be careful, because if you're pulling everything out, if you don't set some filters in here, then all your tools will get sucked into the AE system. All of your things that you need to fix problems. So you need to make sure you set some filters on this real carefully. So, this is an amazingly useful thing. Just don't go crazy with it, or you could get yourself in trouble. So yeah, I do think this is actually really, really cool. I see a lot of potential in this. Over here, I've got a remote inventory. This is, I'm just going to right click once to make sure that is kind of resynced to me, because I have not messed with this since I loaded the world up. I've got some things, right? Capacitor bank, empty. Staff of travel, empty. I'm going to get an ender conduit. Going to go like that. And we're going to watch the magic happen. Look at that. I now have a full, totally charged staff of travel. I actually have an ender capacitor bank, an ender IO capacitor bank, that's gaining charge. Why is that? Well, this is bound to my inventory, and it's using RF energy transfer. So we've got some happy charged items, right? Staff of travel, capacitor bank. I can put those back. Don't need this anymore either. If I wanted to, let's say I get this vat with the creative power supply under it, I could take away its power. What am I going to do? Well, if I wanted to, I could walk right over here. Let's get one of those. This is a remote interface. I'm going to put it over here. I've got a location chip that I'm going to use. Shift right click. Target loaded. Now this thing needs to know what it is going to actually carry remotely. Items? No. There's fluid transfers. That's what we're using to transfer hooch. This is what we're using with the AE2 system. Essentia. Think about that one for a second. I don't even know how I'd begin to demo this, but it can do it. Thumbcraft, Essentia. EU energy for the IC2 holdouts. We've got RF energy. Aha! RF is a location chip, a couple of redstone, and a blank plate. I actually don't know. I don't think, yeah, the EU one doesn't have an upgrade. I mean, it doesn't have a recipe in mind because I don't have anything EU using installed. Essentia is a couple of Essentia vials, any kind of aspect, with a location chip and a blank plate. AE2 network. That's just a chest. There is transferring of redstone signals. That's basically just a redstone block. Camouflage update. And the remote access. I'm actually going to get, let's get a remote camouflage also. So we've got power. All of a sudden this connects. And this is receiving power. This means that this machine is totally wireless. It is getting its water from somewhere else remotely. It is sending its byproduct somewhere else remotely. And it's even getting its power. It now has no strings attached. Nothing. And I think that is amazing. You could have a very decorative and very nice and very elaborate house that's got a very neat workroom. And you could hide every single cable and all of the automation in the basement. You don't even have to look at any of it. I think that's great. That is an amazing achievement. We've got hooch that's showing up over here. This could be out in a shack on the other side of your compound if you wanted to, where you keep all of your liquids. And I think that's a great idea. You've got, oh gosh, I could have one that was water reserves. All sorts of stuff. It really is cool, and I really do like it. If I wanted to, I could probably automate furnaces, kind of like this one. This furnace has a whole bunch of logs being fed in from a barrel on the top. This is the furnace. What I actually am curious about. Okay. So now I think... Aha! That is awesome. So now we have something that is disguised like the block it is actually remoting into. Now I can't right click and use it as a furnace, but it does remind me what it's connected to. And I think that's cool. You could hide this as another machine in your workshop, and I really do think that's neat. But basically this is the real furnace over here, which is very cool. And I've got spruce wood being piped in from the top, as you can see. Big old barrel of spruce wood that's got a hopping upgrade on the bottom going into the top of the furnace. Now, when this furnace cooks something, it is going to output through the bottom, which is where this pulls out the charcoal. and it is going to put back in on the side, which goes into this slot. So if I hit this lever, charcoal is coming in from the barrel. You see that number going down? And now this is cooking charcoal and feeding itself and developing a backstock for you. Very, very neat. Now, I could do all of this and put the furnace right here where this thing is. Why shouldn't I? Well, this I can hide in a room off somewhere. I can actually have a B-space upgrade on this barrel and another barrel and link them, and this could be automatically linked to my tree farm. This could be automatically linked to a bank of generators. And all of that could be hidden away where you just have this to check on progress every once in a while. Is this still full? Is this still full? Yes. Okay, great. It must still be working. It must still be doing something. If you come over here and this is backed up, actually, you know what? Let's do this real quick. Oh, actually, no. It's not that one. It is, I'm actually going to bump you out. Right-click. And let's do disabled for a second. We're not pulling product out anymore. This is going to stay there. If you show up and this is at max, this is at max, and this is at max, well, you know that your charcoal barrel is full. That's pretty self-explanatory. Actually going to reconnect that and patch that up. We don't need this anymore. Don't need that anymore. So this is one of the examples of some of the crazy stuff you can do, like the remote camouflage. I think it's very neat. There's a lot of ways you can actually use this. Now, as far as I've been able to figure out, the remote camouflage only works on the tile entity you're linking it to. So this has to look like the furnace. Now, that's the thing that I would really love to see, is being able to camouflage this like this. So then I could just have a nice, neat pillar of whatever material, and there's actually a remote I/O block hidden somewhere in the middle. I think that would be actually a bit of a better improvement. However, that being said, I still see great functionality and great purpose in both of these. So this is just touching upon some of the possibilities. Remote item charging, remote machines, fluid transportation. You can automate. You can basically do, if you want to, low to no power furnaces, which I think is great. I have made the suggestion to Dylan that I really do think that if you have a source block here, it should work a little faster than the two on either side, because it needs these two, right? I think if you have a third one here, then the furnace should cook a little faster. If you have a fourth one here, the furnace should cook a little faster still. I think that makes sense to me. The more blocks around the lava heater, the faster the furnace works. Don't know if he's going to take that to heart. I have made the suggestion, but there's a lot of possibility, as you can see, with remote I/O. So many different possibilities and some fun things to boot. So this is Vaygrim signing off. I really do hope that you're going to explore this. Now, there's a couple things that you really do have to remember. First of all, you cannot interact with the remote inventory. You can't make the remote inventory directly. You have to make a remote interface, then bind it using the wireless transmitter to make the remote inventory. That's tip number one. Tip number two, don't forget to use your wireless transmitter on the remote inventory to activate it once you actually turn it on. So if I get, let's get a remote interface. I already had one. Wow. Okay. Remote interface. Wireless transmitter linked to me. I'm going to pull this out. I have a remote inventory block, right? Let's put it right here. That's not functional. No matter what upgrades I put in here, it's not functional. What you have to do is right-click, target loaded, with the wireless transmitter, then you'll see the dot. You really do have to remember that. That's an important step. And once you do that, once you've got these two tools made, you make a location chip and you'll be reusing it. You just have to make sure you have to make a location chip anyway for all these upgrades. Just make sure you keep one on hand, because this does the same thing this does, but for the remote interface. So when you have this loaded, remote interface, you have to right-click on it with a location chip to turn it on, just like you have to use the wireless transmitter to turn on an inventory. Once you get past that, once you get used to that little activation sequence, then you can do so much with all of these blocks. I really do think that this has actually got a lot of possibility. I think it's a very functional and a very useful mod. Now, there are some confusing hurdles in the mod, like getting used to using the wireless transmitter and the location chip. It's a little weird, but I really don't think he has any... I don't think there is a better way he can implement it. I think it's so simple right now that I don't see a way to improve it practically that I can suggest. So I do applaud Dylan Miller for his work on this mod. I really do hope, I really hope, that he keeps updating it regularly, keeps it coming out with different versions. Right now it's at for Minecraft 1.7.10. There is an older version that exists for 1.6.4, but if you're still playing 1.6.4, I really do recommend you update. So it's out for 1.7.10, and I'm hoping that we'll see this well into the 1.8 era, whenever that happens. So, because this is one of these mods that I can think of one alternative to it, but it's not even a full-fledged alternative. That mod only does a couple of things. Remote I/O is very unique, and that's why I think it merits a quick look, at least, by everybody. So think about it. This is Vaygrim signing off. Thank you very much for stopping by another episode of Mod Guides. I really do appreciate it. And I really do encourage you to just drop a line to Dylan Miller and, let him know what you think of Remote I/O. Let him know how you're using it and what purposes you're using it for. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.